clear the way I clear the way for the guidance. For the purpose. I lead the way for the healing, for the love.
Welcome, ladies. You were just listening to the velvet voice of Mystic Mama, goddess of songstress, and a sacred artist, Ayana Sade. And we are here to talk about music. We are here. I wanted to start with that interlude that you just heard, just to put you in the mood, set the setting. We're going to talk about how music influences our life, how music influences our culture, how it aids meditation and aids the sacredness of our beings, right? So before we jump into everything, I just want to introduce myself. For those of you who are new to the channel, I am Yvonne McBride. This is Yvonne McBride Lit Life, and in this space, we inspire. Yes. We inspire, we nurture, we motivate, we support women of the African and indigenous diaspora to go for their dreams. Yes. Whatever those dreams are, be it travel, be it writing, be it singing, if you have another artist's talent, we are here to nurture that. And to that extent, today we have a special guest. Again, she is a songstress. I have known this lady for a few years now, and I want her to introduce herself to you.
Yes. Hey, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Ayana Sade. I'm a singer, sound artist, mystic educator. I do all the things when it comes to beauty and self-love, and I love to work with women. So I'm just really excited to just be here and be chopping it up with you all today.
And we have a lot of things to cover. First of all, this amazing scenery. So we're going to bless this house today with her energy and with her songs and with her light. And I want to share that light with you all. So today, I want to start. We just got the news that Frankie Beverly and May has just died, right? Yeah. And for those of you who do not know, I am a writer. I love to travel, but music is my religion. Music is my life. That is my, that's what I tap into, right, for everything. If I have writer's block, I'm on music. My writing routine, my morning routine centers around music. All aspects, any genre of music, jazz, R&B, country. That's my jam, right? Music is my jam. So, put me into this space today, just thinking about, and as everybody was doing their, offerings and their tributes to Mr. Beverly, it was just how it impacts the culture. It just hit me. So I wanted to take a few minutes before we dive into the lovely life of Ayana today. Just take a few minutes to talk about what music means to us.
Yeah.
On all levels, to all forms of our identity in our culture. So what does it mean for you?
To me, music is spiritual. It is freedom. It is the thing that ushers us and carries us through. So when we look at spirituality and we look at even just the history of church, we know that we can't do anything without singing because it's an offering to the divine. You know what I mean? So it's everything. Music is everything. Music is everything.
And just to go back, like even before, it's layered, right? Mm-hmm. So even, before America became a thing, mm-hmm. right? Just for the tribes and the indigenous people,
it was
and
prayer.
bands and prayer, mm-hmm. and it permeates your soul, right?
Yes.
The soundtrack of your life is a thing for
sure.
a reason.
For
you know
sure.
what I mean? It takes you back. Any tune, you hear a tune and it takes you back to a certain thing, and how much this song has gotten you through, and how much this artist has gotten you through. And we'll go into the meditation part of it later, but
it's a way to pray.
Yes,
it's a way to pray. It's the best way to pray.
Yes,
it's a subconscious. Like a lot of times we want to hear different songs. It's our desire to connect to the divine.
Exactly. It permeates your soul, and it brings up. It taps into that innate intuition, right? That innate, whatever you're going through, whatever trials you're going through, whatever anxiety, whatever life is thrown at you, it taps into that and works itself out and brings it to the surface, so you can emotionally deal with it. It's a cleansing. Music is a cleansing.
Yeah.
A lot of the times. Exactly. And that's what we're talking about today. How it aids us, how it comes through channels like Ayana to bless us, and to have something to hold on to when you don't have anything else.
Yeah.
And that's why I correlated to, like, it's my religion, because I'm a spiritual person. I'm not a churchy person.
Right. Well, that's how we connect.
That's how we connect. That's what we connect to.
And that's how we connected.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. That's what had the conversation keep going. We was like, oh wait, there's more.
Exactly.
There's more here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when it's the same thing. Like when you meet those certain people, it's instant. It's instant. When you hear that certain song, it's instant. That tune is instant. It's an instant connection.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to take a time out to talk about that. And now we get into your history with this aspect of our culture.
Yes.
What drew you? Well, what is your earliest memories of music? Let's start with that.
Oh my goodness. So my earliest memory is, so my father's a musician. His mother was a musician. My grandmother on my mother's side is a musician. Her mother was a singer. They all had very deep roots in music. So on both sides. And my deepest memory and my most proud little memory is when my dad, he produces a lot of music. He's a reggae musician. And I would put my feet on the wall to feel the bass through my body.
Yes.
Like when I was supposed to be sleeping, I'd be listening to what he was doing.
Yes.
And he used to have the studio next door to my bedroom. So my feet would just be pressed up against the wall. And anyone who knows reggae knows the bass line is what carries us. It's what has the waistline moving. It's what helps us free up that energy. So that's the beginning of my, I would say, sacred music journey. Is I remember just putting my little feet, and I was probably this was before my baby sister, so I was probably 4 or 5. Wow. And I remember I just loved the way it felt through the wall,
Mm-hmm.
So
that's your first memory.
That's my first real memory of experiencing sound.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And then performing, I've always sang. It's like a meditation for me. It's an always sing. It just keeps me calm.
Yeah.
What they call it is stimming. That's what people say.
Yeah.
That's the language.
Yes.
But it's just the thing. When I'm not feeling well, I'm singing. When I'm feeling happy, I'm singing. When I feel angry, there's sound. It might not be singing, but there's sound.
Right.
So yes.
So when you talk about your first performances, right? Were you a little girl, performing where you have with your dad or with your own group? Like, what were your beginning performance?
For sure. My first time I was on stage, I remember it was like an event my dad used to do all throughout the summer in this place called Ligonier, which is not far from here. Mm-hmm. And he was like, I used to always just be so enamored. And I'm probably like 5 or 6, maybe 6. And I had the little tambourine. And I was on stage shaking the little tambourine. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I could feel all of the energy from the people. And I was like, this is so weird and fun and scary. And I like it. But I remember loving it. And ever since then, like, it's just been a thing. You know what I mean? And I had really, really great opportunities to, like, just study different types of music and just allow myself to explore. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
So what types of music did you study in,
reggae, definitely R&B. I mean, when we talk about people I love, Whitney Houston, Toni Braxton, this is the 90s. I'm a 90s baby. Like, so, The Waiting to Exhale was on replay.
Yeah.
Erykah Badu, that first album, on a replay, on the shuffle, to the point where the CD disappeared. And I'm not going to say who did it, but somebody in the house.
Somebody out there got her CD.
Somebody in the house was like, I'm tired of hearing this song. And it lived in our 7-disc. You remember the 7-disc CD players?
Change out. Yeah.
Exactly. So I was like, where did it go? It couldn't have gone anywhere. Someone took it out. But here we are. This is not what we're here for today. But yeah, so I would say I got to study. I also had a chance to study a little bit of opera, which that's when I actually felt like I experienced sound healing with voice for the first time.
Okay.
One of my voice teachers, I went to work with her because she was saying she's a voice teacher. I thought she was going to do like jazz with me.
Right.
Well, I got there and she was opening up all this opera in different languages of like Italian and German.
She's like, I'm going to train you.
And I was like, what are we doing? What is this? And I was like nervous. My grandmother sang opera, but I never was really drawn to opera like that. I thought it was cool, but not to sing it. And then there was different exercises that she had me do. And it opened parts of my head. Like I felt different sounds from different frequencies move through my system. Mm-hmm. And so I remember the first time that happened, I was at her house and we were going through some exercises and I was going through a serious breakup. I was going through a divorce and I was like, okay, I was really focused on my art. Once we go through a breakup, I know y'all can relate.
You gotta get hunkering down. I'm hunkering down.
That's it. Oh, you thought I was playing. Okay. And that's what you do. You get serious. You get real serious. There's no distraction.
I'm about to show you.
I'm about to show you. Oh, I can't? Okay. So that's what we do, right? And we start wanting to, just getting closer to ourselves and loving on ourselves and really deepening that love relationship with ourselves.
Right.
In a more serious note. So I was studying opera and that's what happened. And she had given me this exercise and it was like, I didn't even know my voice could sing at the register. Like, I'm a soprano. Mm-hmm. And if you hear me sing around, you would never think that.
I didn't think that. Right.
But, like, she was like, nah, like, breathe. And she properly showed me how the vocal cords are and what they do and that they're a muscle. And we only worked together for, like, 6 months, but that changed my life. Yes. And I felt something shift in my body with different notes. Mm-hmm. Because of the frequency and the way that she had us breathe. With opera, it's a more circular breath, and you teach yourself how to breathe in a circular way. Mm-hmm. And so you almost can feel the air, which is what makes that vibrato. It's like the air that makes that like sound.
Right.
And so I was like, this is amazing. So I was just like, this is so amazing. I was just addicted to that feeling because it was like love. Like I could feel love.
So talk about when you said that's the first time you felt it tapped into your like mental, right?
Yeah, my body.
Your body. Talk about the feeling for people who are not singers, who can't relate to that.
Yeah, so first of all, breath is so important. And that's why breath and singing, anyone can sing because it's just breathing and talking, really. Mm-hmm. And the first time that I felt it when I was working with her, I took a deep breath and she had me sing. We were doing this exercise and it was this note that I did not know I could sing, but I just trusted her, and I just trusted her. And so she hit the key, and I sang it. And it was like a crack.
Wow.
Like I felt the crack. And I was just like, when I was done, because you have to take the breath in, and you take the breath down and expand, and then you let the sound move through you, right? Which is a different style than what I was accustomed to doing. And I felt this crack happen, and like it was in my head. It was like the weirdest
opening
thing.
Different channels
in
your head.
And I just started to cry. I was just weeping, and she's like, I know, it's beautiful. And her name is Giselle, and shout out to Giselle. I just love that woman.
Shout out Giselle.
Shout her out. She is an indigenous Mexican woman that is just amazing. She sings in like 20 languages or something. Her husband's awesome too.
Where were you taking the classes?
Here.
In Pittsburgh? Okay.
Yeah, they're in New York or somewhere. They are such no names.
Right.
They're just so amazing.
Right.
Yeah, but here in Pittsburgh, and it changed everything for me. It really changed everything for me. It was like, I feel like that was my first time really experiencing healing.
Yes.
Through sound.
Yes.
I experienced God through music, but healing through sound was different. That was different for me.
Yes.
And so we were just crying together. She was like, "It's beautiful, isn't it?" She's like a mad scientist. That's how I look at her. Like, she's just so smart, and like, anyway, I just love her. But that was the first time that just like I really felt that, and I remember the crack, and I remember feeling different after that, and being like, wow.
So from those experiences, that first time, how old were you about this time?
That was like, my son was like 4.
Okay.
4. So that was like, he's 9 now. Okay. That's about 5 years ago.
Okay.
And I've been singing all this time, and a lot of times it's like I love to sing, but there was a lot of anxiety with singing, because it's like you want to make sure people like it. But something about opera, which you would think would be more, wasn't raised traditionally in a church. Like, I was raised just praying over my food, praying when I go to bed, being thankful, and having a certain energy and attitude around like gratitude. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's the way I was raised. But so that was my first experience, really like feeling something.
Right.
And I was like, whoa.
Right.
Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did, and more. So what would you consider your style of song?
So I consider myself a sacred sound artist.
Okay.
I intentionally use story to shift the way we see things. I use words. I'm a poet as well. So I create affirmations with songs. Mm-hmm. But I tell true stories. Mm-hmm. So I have an EP that's coming soon. I have a song out now called Worthy. Okay. And it's an affirmation song. Okay. And it's called Worthy. It's called Worthy. You can find it anywhere on your streaming platforms, but give them the streaming platform. Listen. Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, wherever you listen to it. Yes. And that song came from, I don't know. Go ahead, come on. That song came from getting back into the dating field. And going through different situations with these humans and these men's outside. These menses and these humans, these peoples and these folks. Yes. And, a lot of times people want to kind of like throw you away when they see that you're not what they think you are. Mm-hmm. Because people create these ideas and be in love with the idea, but not the actual. Put you up on pedestals and everything. Which I don't mind a little praise, I love you, boo, you so special. But I mean, I'm also human. Yes. And in this situation, I was going through something, and I didn't want to, I was like hiding a little bit, and I like kind of ghosted one of the guys I was like dating. And he was like, he had so much graciousness, like when I came back around and came through. Mm-hmm. And it helped me to see like, oh yeah, I'm still worthy even when I'm not perfectly acting. Yes. And he didn't make me feel bad. You know what I mean? And so then later I really was like, dang, it's like the worthiness of love, like the worthiness of experiencing God is what I was saying. Like I didn't feel worthy enough. Like come as you are. Yes. Come as you are enough, whatever you're bringing to the table. Yes. It is you are worthy of whatever blessing, you are worthy of love. Of all of the things. Yes. And like sometimes we say that we want different things and we block them because they come and then we were like, no, that's not it. But it'd be like, no, God opened the door for you to walk through that bad boy. Walk through it. So I think
the universe answers.
Yes, every time. So I think like when I really sat back, I was like, dang, it's really my relationship with God and the love of God, and not feeling all the times worthy of the love of God. And so that's when I was like, wow. But the song kind of wrote itself. It just came through, and I was just like, oh, let me catch this.
The channel, yes.
Yeah. So that's one of my latest and favorite songs. I just feel like I love how people were saying they feel when they hear it.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. So let's talk about what your gifts, the places your gifts has taken you, right?
Yes.
So you grew up here in Pittsburgh. You nurtured your talent mostly here.
Yeah.
Before you took it to the international streets.
Yeah.
But let's talk about that journey. So
Yes.
how long were you here before you decided to try different avenues?
Yeah, so one of my skill sets is I'm a cosmetologist by trade. I know how to make products, and I really am just really in the codes of beauty. That's my thing. That's my codes. That's my gifts. That's my things I love to do and I love to share, and it's my thing. So I was going through a breakup, a divorce. It was the divorce that really helped me just do all the things. I'm telling you.
Look,
what?
The universe will put things in your way to
make
work
you
them out, to push it through, and to put you on another level.
Yes.
Right? Had to get through that to go to this level.
Yes.
Had to get through that to go to this level.
Yes. So that's exactly what it was. So I was going through divorce. I moved back to my mom's house. I was like really going through it. And I went into a space of really just doing what I know. I love to do hair. So I love to make people feel beautiful.
I think that's how we met, actually.
Yes.
Through Tamika.
Yes.
Hey, Tamika, girl. Girl.
Yes, because I used to do her hair. Yes. Yes.
That's how we met.
Wow.
Originally.
And then it just was like, oh, y'all gonna be friends. Y'all gonna know each other. So yeah, I was going through that. I was living in my mom's house. I was like sharing a twin size bed with my like 4-year-old, because I was like, when I left, I had my own house. I was married. I was doing the married thing.
Right.
So there was a few things that was happening. I went back into a salon, because I feel like that's where a safe place for me to serve. And so I was serving in a salon as a hairstylist, beauty, sacred beauty specialist, and whatever, doing the things. And the door just shut. I was really sad about that. I felt the shift. A few incidents happened that had me have to shut the door on the salon that I was working in. And I was like, dang, and I was really sad because we were working on a few things, but she made it so that we couldn't work together anymore. And so I was sad, but I was like, what is this? And I was like, I just feel like I'm always having these experiences here, la la la. I'm ready to be somewhere else. I want to grow. I want to do more than every time we get started. It's like a door. I don't want that. I want to grow. So I was really just in prayer, and Spirit was like, so you talking all this mess about you want to go explore somewhere else? So go explore. What's holding you back? So I started.
Lesson number 2.
Yes.
When Spirit tells you something,
move on it. Yes.
Move
on it. So I was just like, all right. I was like, okay. So I just started to really start to look around, okay, where can I go with this skill set? Because I've been doing hair forever. I make hair products. I've been doing this for a long time, making hair products and teaching hair and all these things for years. It's always been alongside my music. It's always been both things together.
Right.
So I was like, okay, what do I do? So I found a salon that was in Atlanta, and I went and applied, and I was like afraid, because it was like, when you're tender because someone rejects you or something is happening, and I was already going through the divorce. It was so much happening. It was just like,
Lord, take no more rejection.
I was like,
I
can't take another no. But Spirit was like, we have to go. This is the time. And so I felt the heat, the energy of it, and I was like, all right. So I was like, so it was like the salon, and I won't name the salon. Maybe next time I want to talk to her first before I start naming names. But anyway, it was like a very, very popular salon in Atlanta, and you had to actually apply.
I think I know what you're talking about. But go ahead.
Probably, because I've never seen a salon do as well as this one. I admire her so much. She taught me so much. But anywho, I applied to a salon, which I've never heard of.
Right.
I had to.
You have your blueprint. Come on.
Right, and that's it.
Right.
No, we had to apply. There was a dress code. Anyway, but before I even, whatever, I had applied. I did all the things. I actually had a portfolio. So Right. So I put my portfolio, I submitted my portfolio, and I just had my fingers crossed, Lord, I hope this works, because I got to do something. I had my son, I have I moved.
Come on, I did the
thing. I did the thing.
Yes.
And I was really scared. I ain't gonna hold you. I was afraid because like that "am I good enough" thing happens when you're from a smaller city in a smaller town.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. So anyway, at the same time, a friend of mine at the time, we had planned to travel to go to Atlanta.
Okay.
And so it all just kind of worked out. She got my my resume, because I had to do a resume, my application. It was like a real, like she just wasn't playing. Yeah. She wasn't playing, and I respected that because that's what I said I wanted.
Right.
And I would just happen to be in town at the same time where she called me back, and she's like, "Well, are you available to do an interview?" And I was like, I put the phone on mute, like, looked around. I was by myself, but I had to look the spirit. I'm like, yes, I'm available in town. I'm in town. And I was like scared to tell her I'm not from Atlanta. But I was like, no, I'm here. Yeah, I'm available. And she's like, okay, good. She's like, yeah, so let's do this tomorrow. And I was like, okay. I go into the interview and she tells me she has a full book ready for me because she just lost a master stylist. That she sees my work and she sees that I've been doing this for a long time. And she would love to have me. Wow. And I said, give me 2 weeks. Wow. I will be back. And she's like, okay, I got you. She's like, okay. So I was communicative, let her know. I packed all my things up. Had my mom hold my son just for a moment just so I can get down there and get his apartment and all the things. Right. I went down there. And so the full story, because we're spiritualists, right? Right. The full story is Spirit gave me a time. Spoke a time in my ear about how long I was going to be there. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, but why? Because this is perfect. Spirit said 6 months. Wow. 6 months. Wow. Okay. So I'm like, what does that even mean? But it was like so.
You just said, I'm about to move here for 6 months.
Right. Like, so I'm like, no. So you fight, right? So anyway, I get down there. It's going great. First 4 or 5 months. Awesome. No problems. I was very much so keeping boundaries with all, because there was like 13 other stylists or something in the side of the salon. This woman was working on her 4th salon. Like a lock salon, a natural lock salon. And she was a natural girl. She wasn't, she wasn't the person that, a lot of times in beauty work,
it's just the
representative
who owns the place.
No, she loves locks. She takes care of locks. She has her own hairline, like a lock girly. Like, and I was a loctician, a master loctician. And so it was just really wonderful to work underneath her. And then the 5th month came and things just started shifting. And I was keeping count because it was so good. Right. And I never made no money like that doing locks. Wow. Never. What? I was making the same amount as one of my lawyer friends. And I hate to say it, but it's true. Wow. And I've never seen that before. And I was like, why do you want me to do this? I don't want to. Wow. Right. And I was like, okay. I was like,
so pause. Were you singing at the same time? Or
no, I was not singing. I was not allowing myself to sing. Okay. I was like, I would go to open mics and not sing. Okay. Which was like unheard of. People was like, what are you? But I was afraid. I was shy. It was a big city. And I was just leaving my ex-husband, all the things. I was just so down. I just really wanted to make bread. Like, I wanted to make that money. I was about the money. And I didn't see how it could go together. Right. And, like, I was just nervous. So I was just like, I need to focus on here. I don't want to talk about nothing else. I just want to make this money. So the 5th month comes. Stuff starts happening. Weird stuff. Like, just like problems with the lead stylist. She's intentionally setting me up to sabotage my career. Like to the point where the owner is having conversations with me. Oh, with me because she has 4 salons. Okay. So she has to trust her lead. That's why she has a lead. Gotcha. The lead is setting me up, child, trying to get me in trouble. I'm just like,
because you're making money.
Because I'm making money and I'm like rising. And she also like was, they encourage people that are doing well. And I had been doing it for a really long time. Right. So she was like, yeah, she's one of our risings. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So anyway, time is moving. And I'm like, okay, we're on the 6th month. And it's to the point where I have to wake up like and put the shield on. I was waking up at the butt crack of dawn, 5 o'clock in the morning inside of prayer because there were so many attacks that was happening at the salon. Every single day. And it was just like, what is, and I was like, this is not, what is this?
What is it?
What is this? And I'm like, oh, it's 6 months.
Right. It's time to go.
It's 6 months. So I'm like, what am I going to do? I can't go back home. What are you saying to me? And I was like, I'm not going back home. I'm not going back to Pittsburgh. So I'm like, I don't know. I'm not going back though. So I'm like, what should I do? So I go back home for something that was going on in Pittsburgh, probably a birthday party or something. Something I had to do. And my cousin, who's my beautician, shout out Shan, I love you, boo. And she's like the only cousin. She's like the only one I really let touch my hair outside my mom. I might let one time you do something.
Somebody untangle it.
Listen,
Somebody,
babe,
I
I
breeze
do
on my
that.
scalp.
You might be able to braid a bird, but that's my stylist.
Right.
She gets me. It's, you know. So I'm like, I'm doing my hair. She's doing my hair, and it hits me. And all of a sudden, I just feel all the things that my son is feeling by being in a new city and not having the support that he needs. And me not being, and me working. I was working like hours at the salon, like late. And by the time I got with him, I was so tired. And it just hit me, and I could just feel it. And I was like, wow, this is not the type of motherhood I ever signed up for.
Right.
I was homeschooling him. All this time, it was very intentional, the type of motherhood that I wanted to have with him.
So for that 6 months, he hadn't created a community. You hadn't created a community of people
Not
who
really.
would support him.
No, not really. So it was like he would go back and forth between being here in Pittsburgh with my mom, and my mom would come down and spend time with me. And I was like paying a babysitter, which was very expensive. And she wasn't a friend of mine, so I had to pay her. You know what I mean? Like, so I was just like, dang, I guess my time is up. So I was like, God, I really just want to work on my business, and I want to figure this out, and I want to take care of my son, and I want to repair our relationship, because I know what it's like for an ambitious mother to not have enough time to be able to do the mother stuff.
Right.
And I didn't want that.
Right.
So I was like, all right. So it just hit me, and I'm just like crying to my cousin. I'm like, oh, like I'm just crying, like it just hit me. And she's like, well, you know, you're a good mom. You'll figure it out. Like, she just encouraged me. And she doesn't understand that a shift is happening inside of me. I'm realizing that a new season is opening.
Right.
I'm like, all right. I'm like, I have to leave. At this time, I had a Facebook friend, that was telling me about her experience in Mexico. And she was like living in Mexico. And I was like, okay, wow, that's cool. And she was like, yeah, girl, it's like people was out here. I was like, they know black people should, yes, they are. And she's like, she had me pay. This was not a friend of mine. This was like a Facebook friend.
Yes.
And she was like, yeah, we could do a consultation, run these couple dollars, and then I could like show you like, whatever. So I'm like, okay. And I pay for people's time. I believe.
Yes.
Listen, whatever.
Yes.
And I had
just saying she wasn't a friend. She was a Facebook.
She was a Facebook friend.
Yes.
So she's like, yeah, you need to. So anyway, we go, and I'm looking around. I'm like, okay, cool.
You go where?
No. I would do the consultation.
Okay.
I go to the consultation.
Okay.
And I'm looking, and I'm like, wow. And I'm like, I think this is where I'm supposed to be next. But these things are like twirling in my head when I'm on my flight back to Pittsburgh. Right. And then when it hits me that I have to move, I'm like, oh, Spirit is, I have to go. I'm going to Mexico.
Yes.
Because I'm digesting this information
in real time.
In real time. I'm like, I'm going to Mexico.
To do what?
To do what? I don't have no online store. I don't got no online business. I don't got no way. I don't speak no Spanish besides my couple classes I took in history.
Yeah.
I'm like, do y'all, viewers, have you ever experienced when God is just like, no, this is what is next, and you're like, you're digesting the information. This is not my deciding. Yes. This is what is next. Yes. And I'm watching what's happening where it's like, I'm either going to leave or I'm going to be fired.
Yes.
That's what's going to happen. So I'm like, okay. Because I was like, I would get flats like 3 times a week. Like, it was just like to the point where
you got to go.
I had to go.
Yeah.
Like, because she didn't play like that. You keep being late, she will release you.
Right.
She will. She'll give you an opportunity to switch your time. After that, she will release you because she don't play. And I love her for that. So anyway, so that's what happened. I came back home. I packed all of my things. And this time, instead of going to Forge Away without my son, I said, we gonna Forge Away together. Mm-hmm. I came home and told my mom and dad, because this was like autumn. It was going into the autumn time.
What year?
Of 2020.
Before that.
So I was in COVID in Atlanta.
Okay.
I did COVID in Atlanta. So that was what, 21?
Yeah.
21
and the 22. Yeah.
In March 2021, I moved to Atlanta. So then at the end of it, because I stretched it. It was like 8 months.
Right. Okay.
It was like 8 months. And so so then I packed all my things. I told my parents. I said, I guess, and I'm trying to explain to them.
And I'm like, oh, and my child. They already know your child, but my child.
And I'm like really having to like pray myself up, because I'm like, this is what God is telling me to do. I look crazy as hell right now. I'm leaving this great paying job that I'm telling everybody I'm making all this money and I'm supporting.
I made it the most money I've had in my life.
My life doing locks. my people was like cool and la la la. My clients, I'm making new clients. They love me. They're coming back. La la la. They're loving my style. They're loving my like creativity because I'm coming from a different city.
Yeah.
And I'm telling them that I'm moving to Mexico. This is when people were talking about the cartels real heavy. Mm-hmm. They're talking about being kidnapped real heavy. And all the things
as they do.
As they do, right? And I'm like, I don't know, God is saying very clearly in every way. I mean, because every way.
So what city were you contemplating moving to?
Playa, Carmen.
Okay.
So I sat with my mom and dad, and I was like, my family, I got a family meeting. And I was like, my plan is, because they always knew that I was always desiring, I had a deep desire to always have a bi-coastal life where I did not do winters.
Right.
And I was like, this is my opportunity. I was invited by this sister that I met out there that I know. She said there's women out there. I don't know. But I'm happy to say
this is before the Black expat community hit it.
Yes.
Like, people were doing it, but this is before. It's a trend now, right?
Yes.
It's a thing now, but this is before. This is at the precipice of that time.
Yeah. And it was growing so fast because people were not dealing with COVID.
Yes.
They weren't dealing with it. So I'm like, I call my homegirl. I'm like, will you fly with me and my son to come help me drop off this stuff?
Did you have an apartment before you got down here?
We had an Airbnb.
Okay.
And
on a wing and a prayer.
That was, I think it was like a month.
Uh-huh.
And thank God, good friends take care, you take care of yourself and take care of each other. And she just really supported me through that because I was like, girl, I know. Because I was like, the way I was weeping that night, it helped me really feel why the weight is like, you need to go.
Right.
You need to go. And so I was like telling her my experience. She's like, well, I trust you. So I'll come, I'll come with you. So she came with me and helped me.
That's a friend.
That's a friend. She came and dropped me off.
That's a friend.
She had like 3 days.
Come on, friend.
She used her ticket.
What's your name?
Patrice.
Yes. Thank you, Patrice.
Thank you, boo. She helped me through that. You know what I mean? And really helped me through that. And she was like, all right, so this is that. That's that. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's that. And she was also really just a good friend with me because even that relationship was really hard for me to leave. So it was just like so many things. But I was in Atlanta. I was a new girl. I was changing. You know what I mean? And that's the other thing. People don't prepare you for what happens when you do follow God's path. You grow at an exponential pace. Mm-hmm. And so even when we moved to Mexico, we were in Mexico, me and my son, just figuring it out. And I was like, okay, I'm here to focus on my business. I wanted to get into coaching, life coaching, and just supporting people with healing themselves.
Yes.
Through beauty and things like that. So I already had a course called Cultural Cosmetology that I had been teaching forever. And so I just had opportunities to teach in Atlanta, virtually,
right?
In Mexico. I don't know how I was making it. Honestly, I don't. It was God,
right?
It wasn't me.
It was your talent.
Yes,
it was you putting the work. Doing the work, doing the groundwork. But yes, with help from
the divine and the ancestors and the Rishas and all of it. Because and I was just like so thankful. So I was there for a year and a half. And so the transformation that happened there was amazing.
So now you're in Mexico.
Yes.
You're meeting community.
I'm meeting community. And some of these people, let's be clear, when you go where God sends you, and that's what I was telling people. People are like, what you know? I'm like, children go where I send you. That's it. Children go
where I send thee.
They said, I said, that's what I'm doing. And then people laugh. And I'm like, I don't know. I have no, this is not my, is it my life? It's my life. But it's true. I don't know. So, like I said, I had like $400 because then the money also started getting funny in Atlanta when it was time for me to go. I had about $400 to my name when I moved to Mexico. I don't know. So I was teaching this course, and then I was meeting community, and I was meeting people that I knew, like their insides.
Yes.
Like this was Soul Tribe. And I was meeting some of the most beautiful women that I've ever met, and women that were doing things that I wanted to do or that I was doing inside. Right. And we were building tribe. Mm-hmm. We were building community. We were inside a community. Mm-hmm. And it was like I was trying to run away from music because I was trying to focus on building the business. Mm-hmm. Well, the business came when I was singing.
Right. Right.
Because when I would go sing, I was meeting people.
Yes.
And I was there for like a month and a half, had my head down, maybe like 2 months. I had my head down, didn't go nowhere, just working. And I was like, oh, if I don't go outside, I'm gonna snap. So I found this open mic. I went to the open mic. I started to make friends. Yes.
And that's the first open mic you sang at.
Yes.
So you was not singing in Atlanta, going to open mics, was not singing. Got to Mexico, opened up.
I had to let it go. And it was like I started to really work with a lot of artists out there. And it was just like music. It was just like I was still kind of trying to run a little bit because I'm like, you know, we have this whole starving artist thing.
Yes, we know.
That we hold on to.
Yes.
And so
we hold on to that society puts on us, and
we carry
when in our frustrating periods, you carry it, right?
Carry it.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of still carrying that, and then I just started to have opportunities to do like retreats, and it was just a shift that happened. Something about being where you're supposed to be, I'm very, very big into astrology and astrocartography. And when I seen my Jupiter and some other planets was like right in alignment with that city, my level of expansion and feeling seen and feeling loved and feeling supported, it was such a shock that I used to have to take days on end to allow myself to get used to my new reality.
Yes.
Because it was like a dream.
Yes.
Like fresh mango, walking to the beach, beautiful women that wanted to work with me. Which was a stark difference.
A shift in your reality.
In my paradigm. It was a new life.
Yes.
I would have never said, let's move to Mexico and make new friends.
Yes.
That was me.
And then the move opened you up to different opportunities, brought you back to your talent,
to myself.
Singing, to your singing talent.
To my singing.
To your voice.
Yes, and I would do different classes there about how to do your hair. Because a lot of black women have different relationships with their hair. So we were doing... So I got excited about hair because I was able to do it the way I wanted to do it.
And hair and song at the same time. Like how you were doing it here originally.
Yes. So exactly, except for on a whole new level.
Right.
And so I was invited to do retreats, and I started to find out, get back into the sound healing aspect because of the things that I was experiencing. I had an opportunity to actually deal with some of the grief and not just work myself to death, because I think that's something that black women do.
Yes.
We will work. We'll be like, it's okay, I'll work.
Yes.
I'll work, don't worry. And I think that's Taurus.
That will work itself out. That will work. No.
So I was dealing with a lot of grief, and I was even dealing with grief that wasn't mine. My mother's grief, my grandmother's grief. And so, but I was in a really beautiful community that I was able to really call on support and really make soul family, soul tribe. And so it was just really, really beautiful. It was just so beautiful. And I was like, okay. And I was there. And then, the understanding of wow, my family, my grandmother's turning 92 or 90. No, she's turning 90 at that point. And my sister was pregnant with a girl who I had visions about. And my other sister was having a baby, had a baby. And I was like, everybody is having babies. And I haven't gotten my business off the ground enough to be able to fly back with ease the way I need to fly back and forth.
Right.
And so I heard Spirit trying to tell me something else.
Okay, so before Spirit moved you again, let's just sit here for a moment, right?
Yeah.
So you said you moved to Mexico, brought you back to your voice, your song, different aspirations that you had for your life, right?
Yes.
And it brought you to sound healing.
Yes.
What kind of events were you doing in Mexico around sound healing?
Yes, so I really was serious about creating sacred spaces for women to praise the divine.
Yes.
That were not in traditional religions, like your Christianity, Islam, Judaism. I wanted to create sacred homes. So I was doing this one event called Altars of Mommy. I did The Gathering, which was an event actually started in Pittsburgh, for women to gather and just basically be and experience God together.
Yes.
And so, and I was doing it with also homies were doing really great. I'm trying to remember the names, but just all my friends. I'm like, I'm gonna shout all y'all out, but I'm also gonna leave y'all alone at the same time. But because I keep my sacred. Yeah. But I know trees don't care. But so we were doing a lot of events. Like, it was happening all the time. I was like doing retreats all the time.
Yes.
So that's how I was making ends meet.
Right.
So I was going here, singing, doing shows, but also like the bread was more so coming in from different retreats I was being a part of, and I was able to be a part of, because now Playa was my hood.
Right.
I knew who sold the cheapest mangoes that was a right.
Right.
I knew where to get different food from.
Right.
I knew like who had the bombest cenotes. Cenotes are like natural lakes where the earth like caves in, and it's like a cave and a river type of like lake type of thing. It's so beautiful.
Gorgeous.
And it's healing. And I was coming out like 10 pounds lighter. I lost all the weight. I was eating so well. You know what I mean? It was just like weight that was spiritual weight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like, it was just so, so, so beautiful. And so, yeah, that's where I would say my now business was kind of born. I was really working out the kinks of like what it is to serve and to have a sacred business and to show up in service.
Yes.
And I was teaching myself how to do that in a way that wasn't breaking my back and not people pleasing. Right. And not, just because as a beautician, I think that there was a lot of things. The reason why I love doing it so much is
because you cater to your clients.
Yes.
You're catering to your clients, and you're not, although you love it and although you can do it and although you're talented of it, it's still what you're giving.
Yes.
A lot of giving.
So with the music, it wasn't still of a giving, but it was like we were creating sacred community to experience sacred healing together. Yes. And so, that's what it was, and that's what we did. And I came back. It changed me forever.
So we're going to take a pause. We're about to go into the witching hour.
Yeah.
So for anybody out there who is a bit, more churchy, and not less spiritual, but if you don't believe in a lot of other stuff, Ifa or astrology, you might want to go ahead, sound out, and y'all others tune in. Yes,
we're gonna get into it now.
Yes. Okay. So when we talk about sound and song healing, it's a therapy, right? Yeah. We've already covered that at the beginning. Like it's tapping into what's in you to bring all these things to the surface so you can work it out, right? We were talking about how opera opened up different pathways in your mind, singing those notes, how it made you feel in your body. Yeah. And, right now, a lot of things people are talking about mindfulness, right? And a lot of people are getting back into meditation and all of these things. So I'm assuming when you talk about the retreats, these are the things that you're bringing to the retreat: sound healing with sound bowls.
Yeah. So what's happening is creating sacred community where what happens when your nervous system is regulated. And I think that is what I was doing in Mexico, was I was experiencing a regulated nervous system. And it was so shocking to my system that I had to rest into it. So your nervous system is basically, it's your inner parts. The chakras, but also just, it's also your spine, but it's the things that we don't notice a lot of times when we're working a lot and we're doing a lot. It's up. Yes. When we're in flight, fight, fawn. Yes. In those modes where we're
forgetting to breathe.
Right. Forgetting to breathe and relax into it. And so all of my little friends in Mexico, my black girlfriends, because there was all these black people. I want to say that. Because there was community of black folks. Yes. Black families, black men, black women. Lots of black women. Children, everything. It was like, so I want to say that. And it was like, we could tell when American women were coming.
Because the what? Because they're bringing,
the energy.
Yes.
The meaning.
You still got that shit on your back. You're still carrying all the burdens.
For survival and the repelling energy of not feeling safe. Yes. And so, in the retreats, what we do is and even now, the biggest thing is breath. I create sacred space for people to relax. Yes. So we do a lot of breathing. I burn a lot of, the incense, and it's the food is nourishing. I just be a mama. I just be a mama to the
nurturing souls.
Yes. And I just nourish that, nourish it. And then we just really get into it. And then we let spirit move. And when you create space for spirit to come through, it shows up.
Okay, so we're going to talk about, we're going to get into the events that you have coming up.
Yes.
Let's shout them out right now.
Okay, yes.
So
So when I came home, I realized it was because I needed to really ground some parts of my business that you can't really do in Mexico, right?
Yes.
So anyway, coming back home, I was able to restart the gathering. So the gathering is an event where it's sacred, an intimate sacred concert that you get to experience. And these are the mini ones where you get to come and be and experience the music, the intimate concerts, along with a sound immersion.
Yes.
We walk through different parts of the story because we create stories with the different songs. So it's just an experience that you have to experience. And those are, we also incorporate sound, sacred sound, which incorporates chakra sounds. Each chakra has a sound. And we work through those points.
So can you give us a little example of a chakra sound?
Yes. So my favorite one is the heart chakra, right? I mean green too, look at that. Pink and green is the color of the heart. And I love it because I think it's really funny. I think God is hilarious. The sound of the heart is yum, which, yeah, we can do it together. Yum. Yes. Mm-hmm. And yum, you know who eat good food? Yeah. And I like all my Taurus placements, like basically I'm a Taurus. I'm a Gemini, but basically I'm a Taurus. Like, what? Yum is my favorite song. Yeah. So it's like yum or yum. So it depends on how you place your mouth. And so, so we work through those things. And the biggest thing is I really want people to go home with things that can help them self-regulate. Yes. Because when you make decisions from a regulated space, you're able to listen to God a lot more easier. Mm-hmm. A lot of us are being dragged by God and dragged by not leaving a situation until it's too late. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We have a habitual way of doing that because we don't feel safe. Well, if you feel safe in your body, then you allow yourself to be led by God easier. And so you open your receptors. Right? Yes. You open yourself up when you go through. It's like mantras, right? Yes. That's why, in Buddhism and other religions, mantras is basically sound meditation. Yes. Right? So it's opening up your channels, it's opening up all your chakras, and it's allowing, the message to come in, the divine download to come in. Yeah. That's what a mantra does. That's what a mantra is. And that's why a lot of times it's melodic. Right, it goes to a rhythm, and it's grounding you into that. Exactly, it's grounding you into that. So, the gathering, it happens with the equinoxes. It happens 4 times a year. This next one is going to be September 21st here in Pittsburgh. September 21st. Yes, and so there's a component where, like I said, it's a concert, but we also get to do a mystic activity together. Mm-hmm. This mystic activity is going to be forest bathing. Mm-hmm. Because we're going to be outside, we're going to put our feet, and we're going to get to connect with the earth. And we are going to be in the beautiful environmental center in Squirrel Hill. Yes. And so this one is a gift. So if you register, you'll be able to have access to the next event and know about the next events. Information will be under the video. Yes. So that's the gathering. And then we have other retreats that I'm working on, which is, I'm so excited. I had the opportunity to work with Comfort, which is Comfort of 5th House of Venus. Mm-hmm. She's awesome, another sister, and she has these ceremonies. Okay. That's what I'll call them because that's what they are. Okay. And she does them in different cities. The last one was in DC, and that one was, the series is called Pussy in the Sun. Okay. Pussies in the Sun is all about being turned on by your own light. And giving yourself reverence. Yes. And resting into the divine, beautiful aspect. And resting in the divine feminine that we don't always get to be and experience. Yes. And so I really enjoyed working with her so much. The last one was so great. And I was like the lead for Sunday service. Okay. And so we did some sound, and we did, we really got into the ritual music of it, the medicine music of it. And so the next one is October 25th. Okay. And I'm so excited for that. And where is that? And that one's in Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta, okay. Yes. And it's going to be a vibe. And this one is all about adornment. Okay? So we're getting into, so it's a 3-day retreat.
Okay.
Yes, it's a 3-day retreat.
I might come. Okay.
Yes, please.
Yes.
And we are going to have a party where we dress in our highest fashion.
Yes.
I will be doing an intimate concert.
Yes.
So we're going to be singing. We're going to be served yummy food. It's like a 4-course meal. I mean, when she tells me about it, I just be like, every time when we get on our calls for our meeting to talk about what we need to do, I be like, let's talk about the event.
Like, serving the women what they need.
Yes, and she's a Taurus woman. She knows what to do to have you after our own heart.
Listen.
And she just is such a beautiful sister. So I'm super thankful to just be able to collaborate. And I think that's the most thing that's been so rewarding, besides like being able to do what I really love and feel, and do what I was born to do, is working with these sisters and these men too. The man is pulling up with the help. How can I help you? How can I serve you? Because when you're inside your feminine and you're allowing yourself just to be and just be feeling and smelling good, they want to do what they're supposed to do. Yes, they want to do the right thing.
We've had a lot of lessons, but this is lesson number what? 5? Lesson number 5. Say it again. When you are in your divine feminine,
they show up and they want to serve the church. And so that's basically, and that's what I'm mostly excited about too, is that, so YaYa's house, which is my business, YaYa's House Code, which means mother's house. Okay. The mother's house. And YaYa is short for Ayana. We are getting ready to open up our sanctuary.
Okay.
So we are going to have services very soon. So that's what we're working on. That's what this house is. So I'm so thankful that we're actually doing this on my back porch. Yes. God gave it. Like, line this up. And so this is going to be a spiritual care home for the spiritual weirdos and queerdos that have been kicked out of their communities and that need a place to worship. And like, not only that, but have stepped out of there and looking for a place to worship.
And a welcome and a home.
A church home. Yes. So I'm really excited for that. So more information is coming about that. YaYa's House Code is definitely an Instagram page. I'm growing that. Ayana Sade is my personal page, so you get to see the wildness because my life is wild and fun. And then I have my Sacred Beauty page, which is another page about the products and the classes and the children that I work with, and you get to see that. But yeah, like I think overall it's like I just really want to encourage everyone to please just be encouraged and have the courage to be whatever it is that you're supposed to be. Yes. Because on paper it don't make sense.
And don't listen to the naysayers. We all know that. We already know that. When you live your life as some of us do, on the fringes, right? On the fringes of what society says is acceptable, you're always going to get.
But you know what? I want to even say, yes, negative Nancy's, and I want to release. Like, we're not on the fringe. We're in the bosom of God.
Yes,
we're listening.
But even so, like we're not in the fringes because it's more of us. Yes, it's more of us than society wants you to believe there. Yes. And it's a generational shift as well. Yes. Right. Our parents, their grandparents. I mean, their parents believe something else. Our parents believe education would make a way, And now we just want freedom. We want freedom to be and to do what we were put here to do. Yes. Pursue our passions, whatever that may lead, and make money from doing so.
Yes. And because it's our turn, and this is even like a conversation that I really want to talk about, like our reparations are here for us to take. Yes. It's about alignment. Yes. And doing what you're supposed to do. You're not going to find it doing what you're not supposed to do. Yes. So like, I think that's the biggest lesson, and I'm just really trying to allow God to move through and just with ease. You know what I mean? That's always my prayer. You tell me what to do, because clearly.
Mm-hmm. And he's been doing a good job so
listen,
far. It looks like
she, the divine, yes. So yeah, and I'm very thankful. So church is open soon.
So we do. You mentioned your products. We want to go into that just a bit. Before we leave, we'll have you back. When you have a launch, to come back. But talk about your products. Talk about what your talk about your products.
Yes, I created a 3-step moisturizing kit. It's called Moist and Rising Kit. It's a hydration kit for curly, kinky, locked, wavy hair. Cause yes, it's made with intention. It's made with love. It's handmade, small batch, handcrafted, and yeah, it's really for the spiritual girlies that want to have intentional products that are made with that divine energy. I sing to the products. I do all the things, okay? So they are
She is singing over your products.
Listen, they are
She is praying over your products. Yes.
Because our hair, the sacred beauty thing is like, our hair is literally our antennas. When you, and a lot of the ways that I got through some of the hardest things was by feeding my head. Yeah.
Yes.
Feeding that crown chakra, the nourishing goodness.
Our hair is alive.
It's alive. Yeah.
Yes.
And it a lot of times it receives a lot of energy that it's not supposed to, and it needs to be cleared in a lot of ways. So a lot of my clients, I do like aura cleansings and stuff like that with a lot of people that come and sit with me. I do the coconut milk rinses. That's what I was doing. And that's the other thing is like Mexico, they wanted what I had. They wanted all the witchy dippy, hippie dippy shit that I had. They wanted it.
Yes.
They wanted it. So it was a beautiful thing because it was like, they said, oh, you do coconut milk rinses? I need one of those.
And
like,
we want it here too.
Oh, yeah, I want it here. Yes. I offer it here too.
Yes. We want it here too.
But that's why I have a very particular, I have a pretty much closed book unless it's like certain folks that want to come in the door, but it's very, very like, I just take care of the same guests because that's what they need and that's what they want. And we do coconut milk rinses regularly. We do different rinses for the crown chakra and this energy appearance. Because once your head is right, everything else is good. So.
Okay, so for people who already have your products, you doing refills?
Yeah, so I do have a refill party that I'm going to do just because I'm going to do a softer, I do seasonal launches that go with the gatherings.
Right.
And I'm not going to do one for autumn. I'm just going to refill the folks that have already got something. But if you're interested, just follow the pages and you will be in the know. And then the next one is coming in winter, like a little bit later in a couple months.
Okay, so we'll have her back to talk about her hair products. We'll have her back. But before we go, I want to get into also just spirituality. Like when we're talking about whole health healing, and this is what we have been talking about: sound healing and sound therapy, right? It taps into everything, and anytime we bring, when we talk about health and therapy on this channel, we're talking about physical, spiritual, mental healing, right? And talk about how your spirituality plays a part into what you're doing. Like what you're doing with song, what you're doing with how you just say you pray over the product, you put your head like a spiritual bath for your hair. So talk about like how that goes hand in hand.
Yeah. Okay, so it goes hand in hand because, so for example, a lot of times we think that we have a hard time with, like, we want something, we are having a hard time receiving the thing. But a part of it is that our root chakra needs to be cleared. Our heart chakra needs to be cleared. There's some energy center in our body that is unbalanced or is closed.
Right.
And so that's why sound, which is a frequency, emits energy. So that's why when you say, yum, you can feel that. Mm-hmm. And it's because it's a frequency. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to the beauty things and the spiritual healing, when it comes to that, water is one of the biggest conduits. Mm-hmm. And what I've seen is that a lot of times we overlook water as a way of healing. Mm-hmm. So as a child of YaYa, you know what I mean? YaYa for those who don't know. I'm into the water element, and that is one of the elements that I have used to heal myself. That's one of the elements that I share with clients, with many guests that I've had, that their grandmama came whispering in my ear like, she needs a coconut milk bath. That's what's happening. She needs to do this for 4 days, 5 days, 7 days. She needs this. That's what's going on. A lot of times we hold a lot of things within our aura and inside of our aura. And so when we are able to tell the water and talk to the water and thank the water and build that relationship with the water, the first mother, the first bit of nourishment, then we're able to change and heal the parts that need to be healed within our bodies. So using the water, it changes our frequency and changes the aura. And it's a frequent, like you can find so many, it's a frequency thing, but you can find so many experiments about sound and water. I say Google it, YouTube it, there's many of experiments that have been done where you can look at the water, speak certain words over the water, and you see it looks one way when you use beautiful words and beautiful language and beautiful frequencies in comparison to when you're using something like hate or bad sounds and negative sounds or screaming from a place of rage and anger, which I think you need to be in healthy relationship with rage and anger as well. But we'll talk about that. But I think that it is a proven scientific fact that when you speak those things over the water, that they create different shapes, which are not as beautiful as the ones that you. So basically, you can spell yourself, and that's what I think folks should be doing instead of these. A lot of people talk about spell casting and stuff like that. Spell yourself.
Yes.
Into the world that you desire.
Yes. That's
our job. We're supposed to be bringing heaven on earth. So through beauty, through sound, that is what I'm here to do, is to bring us home to ourselves. That's really it. I don't know if I answered your question.
You answered it and then some. We are over an hour, I'm sure. We are over an hour, I'm sure.
Yes.
We will have to have you back.
Yes, for a part 2. I would love to.
Oh my God, this is so fun.
Thank you for having me.
I'm over here, y'all. Mosquitoes is biting me up. But this was so fulfilling.
Thank you.
Number one.
For having me.
I'm coming to, definitely coming to October.
The Gathering or Pussies in the Sun?
Pussies in the Sun.
Okay, yes ma'am.
I'm definitely coming to Pussies in the Sun. I think I have another engagement for The Gathering.
Okay.
But
yes.
Tell them about the 2 events coming up once more. The
Gathering, it is September 21st. And I say get in the loop because I might be hosting a little spiritual little hippy-dippy thing afterwards. But the event is called The Gathering. It's supposed to be an intimate concert along with a mystic activity, which is going to be forest bathing, and a sound immersion. So it's for the spiritual girlies that want to go outside and do something.
And it's to celebrate the autumn equinox.
Yes, to celebrate the autumn equinox. We're going to have this yummy vegan chef.
To set your intentions.
And eat yummy food with
Yes.
So
and just to be around community of like-minded women.
Yeah.
Okay, all the information will be down below this video. Thank you.
So much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching, guys.
All right, people. Signing off. Also, I always forget. Please, if you like this content, if you are a like-minded girly, if you are
healing woman
into
mama,
all that she said. If you like this content, if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe, guys. Please do. Thank you for joining us.
Yes,
bye.
Peace.